Morning, everyone. Grace and peace. Welcome to Find the Intersection. My name is Paul Dzay. Okay, today we're in Psalm 119 again. I say again because a few weeks ago we were here. Now, Psalm 119 is the longest psalm. It's like forever long, right? Just for fun, let me see, 176 verses. But it's interesting because this particular psalm is an acrostic where it has 22 sections, and each section begins with a letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And so we're in a section of Psalm 119, just like we were a few weeks ago. Now, the overall theme, and we'll get to this in a few, is the word of the Lord, or Torah. It's a love psalm for the Torah, the instruction of the Lord. So that's kind of an overall theme. But as you take a look in this particular section, the first thing that jumps out to me is the word righteousness, or right. Righteousness, the Hebrew word, is in there 5 times. The word for right is in there 3 times. So you read through this psalm, it's righteous, 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 righteous. So the righteousness of God. And so to understand this particular section, you have to understand the perspective of the psalmist, who says in his throughout his writing here is that God is the king of the universe, right? So God is on his throne ruling, and his reign, his ruling, is righteous. His decrees, what the king says, is righteous. He is just. He's a just king. He's a good king. He's a righteous king. So that's hard for us to get kind of grab. It is hard for me because we don't live in a world that has kings and queens and all that kind of stuff anymore. But that's the world of the psalmist. So we have to kind of go back into that to see his understanding, or her understanding, of this particular passage. God's reign is righteousness. He rules the universe with righteousness, or right behavior, just behavior. The second thing that stood out to me as I read through the psalm this morning is the psalmist declares himself as a servant. He is a servant of the king. Now, imagine, again, we have that king picture here, context. He's a servant of the king. He is loyal to the king. He is zealous. It says, my zeal consumes me because my friends or my foes forget your words. He lives in a world where people don't listen to the decrees of the king, but he is so loyal, his zeal consumes him. In this unjust world, he is remaining loyal to the king. So that's what we got going on here. And it's almost like a lament, in the sense, we talked about lament yesterday in Habakkuk, but it's a lament in the sense that he looks out the world and sees the injustice in the world. The king of the universe is just, but people don't live according to his righteousness. And so it bothers him. His heart's broken as he takes a look out in the world. So it's a lament in this. And I think the last thing, and this is that overall theme of the psalm, is that the psalmist loves the Torah, the instruction of the king. In verse number 143, it says, trouble and anguish have come upon me, but your commandments are my delight. And so that's how the psalmist views. He views God's instructions, the king of the universe instructions, as righteous. He loves the instructions because he loves the king. And his instructions, his decrees, his commandments, all these different phrases that the psalmist use are what guides his life. It says in verse 144, your decrees are righteous forever. Give me understanding that I may live. So he wants to understand the Torah better. He wants to understand the instructions of the king better. So I read a psalm like this, and you read a psalm like this. So what do we do with it? We don't live in that world anymore. But Jesus is king. He is the king of the universe. He is the Messiah, which means anointed one, which means king, right? So it's a kind of a royal deal. So Jesus is king of the universe, and we have the opportunity to be servants of the king and to be zealous for, to love his righteous commandments. And we get to read his commandments every day. So we worship our king, and our king's verdicts are true. His words are true, and so that's what I got. What did you get out of that passage today? Share your thoughts in the comments, and hey, we'll be back tomorrow to put it all together for the week, the intersections, and hey, happy Halloween. Grace and peace, everyone. See ya.